Hey guys, what's up? Evan from Stock Music Musician, and today I have a review of Spitfire Audio's Studio Strings Professional. Now, yesterday I did a bunch of demos of this package of amazing sounds. There'll be a link up there that you can click to or down below. It's about 30 minutes long, so if you want to hear what it sounds like, go check that out. But today I just want to talk sort of more metaphysically about what I thought about the professional version of the studio strings. In short, they're amazing. They're absolutely the best strings I've ever played with, and I have some other Spitfire audio string sections, and I think this is far and away the best that I've used. Now, to begin with, I do want to say that this was a review copy that I was using, just to get that out of the way, but these are my new favorites. So what you get with the professional version is a full set of strings, basically. Violins 1, violins 2, violas, cello, and bass. And with the professional version, you have both 16, you have the largest section arrangement would be 16 violins, first violins, or you have 8 violins plus 2 sets of 4 violins. The DVC that they all play and sound a little differently, which gives you a ton of control over making your songs breathe and come to life. The professional version also includes a lot more microphone choices, and in my demos I go through and show just how different those can be, and they really can allow you to hone in on just the right sound that you're looking for. Now, what I really like about this library is that it plays organically, I guess is the way I would describe it, because I'm not a good piano player. I'm certainly not a string player. And I can make this sound really realistic, and I can sort of get into the mindset of a string player or of a composer, conductor, and really make things swell and move with very minimal programming. I've worked with all sorts of virtual instruments, whether it's a guitar or other strings or brass, and you watch the demo videos and they do amazing things with it. But when I try and use it, I don't have the programming skills, or I don't have the knowledge of the instrument or whatever it is to make it sound right. And that's not what we're getting here with the Spitfire Studio Strings Pro. I can make it sound amazing, even with like half-assing it, which you'll see in the demos. It just it sounds fantastic. Now, the biggest downside, I think, to the professional grade of the studio strings is that it is massive. We're talking 220 gigabytes installed, and I think it needs like over 400 gigabytes free to install. Sorry, my light just changed. And so make sure you've got room on your hard drive. It would be nice if they had an option to sort of deconstruct it a bit, if there were certain things you just didn't think you were going to use. But ultimately, you have all of the samples to choose from that you could ever want. And they're easily played. The Spitfire audio interface or control panel, GUI, is fantastic, especially if you've used a few of their products. You see it's basically the same thing throughout, so you don't have to learn something new. One of the interesting conceits about the studio strings, as opposed to the other Spitfire audio products, is that they weren't recorded in a massive hall. They were recorded in a studio. So there's not this gigantic reverb tail on them, which allows them to play more to the way you want for what you need in your specific song. Sometimes you need something dry, sometimes you need something wet. You can always add a reverb, and there's some great VST effects out there, but you can never really take it away. I'm not going to say never because, Isotope is working on some crazy things, but it's much easier to add delay. And there's an included delay on the Spitfire Audio Studio Strings that sounds pretty good. It sounds really good. It's just maybe not as big as you would need, but assuming that you've got a modern DAW, you probably have something good to go with, Chroma in Logic or the RV7000 in Reason. Just get some good impulse responses in there and you're good to go. The other thing about it is that, interestingly, the amount of variety of sounds you can get from the players and from the articulations, like, just inspires you to dig further into it. And it's pretty well organized in terms of sample libraries. It lets you choose really economic patches where you're only loading one sample in, to patches that have all the articulations, and then to patches that have all of the gliss notes and I guess what they label it as decorative techniques. And so this allows you to really quickly go in and arrange something, because you start out, you arrange it with the core techniques, all the articulations that you might need. And then you say, where do I need embellishment? And then you go to the decorative techniques, and you can add the little trills and slides and gliss, undi, and those sorts of things. And pretty soon you've got a really realistic sounding, moving, expressive orchestra. Or not orchestra, but string section. And the great thing about this also, especially with the pro version, is at its biggest end, you've got 16 violins, 12 violin twos, I think 12 cellos, 12 viola, and 4 basses, I think, is the biggest. So that's a pretty big old string section. But then you can also, using the Divisi in Studio Strings 4, drop it down to just 4 first violins, 4, I think, maybe 3 second violins, 2 viola, and 2 cellian. I'm pretty sure that's what the numbers are, but it's still 4 basses. Nonetheless, you can really bring it down and get a much more intimate size if that's what you're looking for, if that's what the piece calls for. And when you're doing the smaller versions, it still maintains this amazing level of detail and articulation and richness. So, all in all, really a big fan of the Spitfire Audio Studio Strings Professional. Check out the demos that I did of it earlier. Be sure to like and subscribe if you actually want to see me using these strings in a wide variety of contexts, because it works not just for classical music, but it also works really well, I found, for some hip-hop stuff and some hybrid stuff. So thanks to Spitfire for the demo copy, and thanks for watching.